Thank you, Jeff. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dominic Caponigro. My story probably started about 6 years ago, and I actually was on a treadmill. I got heartburn, went to the doctor. They said take Tums. It didn't work, and I wind up going to a specialist, and they determined that what I had was stress-induced heart disease, and heart disease happens to be what's known as a silent killer. And I went from that doctor's office immediately to a hospital in New Jersey. And when I woke up 4 hours later, they said, "How do you feel?" And to make a long story short, I said, "I feel great. Can I go home now?" And the gentleman said to me, "Sir, we just put 6 stents in your heart." And that kind of woke me up. But to make a long story short, I left that doctor's office in New Jersey, and I had certain health care at the time. And for one reason or another, my healthcare company had switched. And when I got switched to a new healthcare company, I was not allowed to go for follow-ups in New Jersey anymore. My whole state of New Jersey was what's considered out of network. And I took a look at Impact Health about then, and my premium used to be $1,150 a month with United Healthcare. When I took a look at Impact, it brought me down to $400 a month. So I said, I got to try this. I'm going to be saving $9,000 a year. When I switched to Impact Health, I was able to go back to my doctor in New Jersey because there was no out of network. There was no such thing as a network with Impact. So that was my first time looking at it. But my second time looking at it was when they sent me for a prescription. I went into Walmart with 4 different prescriptions for my heart. And the woman came over to me and she said to me, "Okay, here's your prescriptions, $1,150. And I said, "Wait a second, that's got to be wrong. Can I give you my card? Can I give you my Impact card?" And she said to me, "Sure." And I gave her my card, and she came back and she said, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, it's a new health share program that I'm on." "Why?" And she said, "Because your prescriptions are $94." That was my second time taking a look at Impact Health. From 1,040 dollars down to $94 savings on my prescriptions. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I always consider myself fairly healthy, but I have something going on with my nervous system right now, some sort of neurological thing. And I've been to the doctor in the last 12 months. I've been to the doctor 14 different times. 14 different times. And when I tell you, this is not just to a primary care physician. I've been going for MRIs, I've been going for CAT scans. I need a spinal tap. Make a long story short, even neurological surgeons I'm going to. Now, I called up about a month ago to make an appointment for a neurological surgeon. And they said to me on the phone, "We don't accept that. We never heard of that Impact Health Share. You're going to be treated like a cash customer." So I said, "Well, I need the appointment anyway." And I went in for my appointment. And when I walked in, I talked to the girl and I said, "Here's my card. Could you just do me a favor while I'm in there and call the number on the back and talk to them?" When I came out of that appointment, she handed me my card back and she said, "Everything's fine and taken care of. You have a great day." So now I just want to share my screen. I want to show you some of my bills because I want you to understand this. Can everybody see this? Here's one of my labs, right? Now you get a free physical with Impact, and you get yearly blood work with $150 credit. And when I got this bill, I was a little nervous. I'm saying I get $150 credit. They send me a bill for $787. Well, the first thing that Impact did was negotiated $694 off, which made my responsibility $93. Impact paid that. They shared it, and my responsibility was nothing. So when you think you're getting $150 credit for blood work, look what the blood work cost, $787. By the time it was negotiated down, everything was taken care of. But if you take a look at another one of my bills, look at this bill. This bill's for an MRI. You go in for one MRI, they want to charge you almost $3,000. Impact negotiated $2,500 or that off. My responsibility was $290. And I'll tell you the truth, I don't want to go over every other bill, but one of my concerns was when I started with Impact, will my doctor take it? 14 visits later from every single kind of doctor, whether it be neurological surgeon, MRI, CAT scan, spinal tap, no matter what it is, 14 visits later, I learned the answer to that. Every single doctor that I saw either took it immediately or called the number on the back and figured it out. And now I'm still going for follow up after follow up, and I'm welcome everywhere I go. They actually like me more than everybody else in the room because, like Jeff has said, we pay within 10 to 14 business days. So that's my story. Thank you for allowing me to share. I'm so excited. I went out and bought a shirt just because I want to like spread the news and make sure everybody knows about Impact. So thank you.
Well, Dominic, first off, we're praying for you and your health, buddy, but thank you for being on the call, sharing your story. And look, I talked about earlier on how sometimes that provider pushback happens. And look, Dominic gave you a real life story about that, where that happened and they said you're going to have to pay cash base and whatever. I need the appointment anyway. But when he walked in and said, listen, just put the payer ID number in your billing system, he goes into his appointment, come back, said, we put it in, you're good to go. And so, you know, again, that provider pushback is real, guys. That does happen from time to time. So if it happens, just understand what to do. If at that point they still give you a pushback, remember, have them call the number. And if for any reason at that point they still won't bill Impact, remember, as a worst case scenario, you pay cash pay and submit those medical bills to Impact. Now, Dominic is also a referral partner with Impact, just like myself and my wife, Melissa. And for anybody that's on the call here today and you're wondering yourself, is there a business opportunity here as well? The answer is yes. So if you're somebody that wants to learn more about being a referral partner, like many of us that are on the call, and wants to learn about earning residual income by talking to individuals, families, and small businesses about Impact, get back to the person that invited you on the call here today and let them know you want to learn more about the business opportunity. And we have a separate call that we'll invite you to learn about how you can make money as a referral partner. But